Welcome back to Cheddar's Opening Bell. It has been nearly 1,000 days since 17 students and staff at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, lost their lives in a mass shooting. The tragedy awakened a national outcry for action to prevent future incidents of gun violence, but lobbying efforts from the NRA thwarted any meaningful change. And one of those students who lost their life was 17-year-old Joaquin Oliver. His friends called him Guac. Joaquin's parents founded Change the Ref to help raise awareness of gun violence. And joining me now is Manny Oliver, anti-gun violence activist and founder of Change the Ref. Manny is the father of his late son, Oliver. Joaquin, Manny, it's really good to have you with me today. You've been active for years, but your latest initiatives involve your son's love for baseball. Tell us about what 83 Strikes and No Outs is all about.
Well, thank you for having us here today. That is actually part of everything that we do, is having access to the media so we can expand the message. You just said that there's been 1,000 days since the tragedy. I never counted days, but now I was impacted with that number. But it's also like 100 and something victims ago. So there's a lot of people that have died because of gun violence after Joaquin lost his life. Mm-hmm. And we are concerned about all those victims, not only Joaquin. So this campaign touches the side of Joaquin that describes his passion for the sport, in this case, baseball. He loved baseball. And I guess that the more we get out of the gun violence prevention universe and we show our message in other demographics, the faster we can reach goals in here to get more attention from people. This is exactly what we're doing here. Joaquin loved baseball, and he has no chance to see ever again another game.
It's such a devastating moment in history when this happened, and you're right, lives continue to be lost. Manny, with 2 months away from the election, are you hopeful at all that any positive change can come?
Yes, and there's some change that we can already see in terms of the reaction of people. I mean, we haven't stopped. Usually you see these campaigns in recent dates from the tragedy. I mean, you see something happening and then everybody talks about it and then it vanishes. In this case, in the Parkland case, at least for us, we are not letting this just be forgiven or just vanish. You have to keep the message out there. November, I guess that a lot of people now it's involved in social changes, and for that you need to go ahead and vote. I think more people is involved in the elections and excited that we have this opportunity. I'm one of those. I'm an American citizen. I have the right to vote. I will be there on November 3rd, but on November 4th, I'll be doing the same thing that I'm doing today, regardless who is or not the president of this country.
Mm-hmm. Now, your son was a huge Marlins fan, Manny, and I know you probably have many memories of going to some of these games with Joaquin. What was one of your favorite?
We love Fenway Park in Boston. We were there a few times, and we had this kind of rate of the ballparks, and we will give evaluation to each of the visits. And Fenway Park had the best hot dogs. So that was part of going to the game. It's not only the game itself. It's who has the best French fries. Oh, that must be the Cubs in Chicago. The fancy ballpark of the Yankees, the new stadium. So we were able to exchange that evaluation of the trip, and we had so much fun. I mean, the day that I lost my son, I also lost my best friend, my baseball partner, my best friend, and that's unreplaceable. There's no way that I can find someone to fill that space for me.
Manny, what has the healing process been like for you and the Parkland community as a whole?
Those are two different reactions. I will say that from my side, I don't give much attention to my recovery. I am not the victim here, and I want to make that very clear. The victim here is my son, but I'm a father, so I cannot turn into a victim. I have to keep on being a father, and I will keep on being a father forever. The community has another kind of reaction. The community, it's very involved at the very beginning, and then like an American tradition, and it might sound weird, but we as communities, we try to get rid of these situations the sooner the better. There's a lot of things that are involved in here, like property values and the fact that nobody wants Parkland to be remembered as the city that had a mass shooting in a school. But you know what? It's the reality. So you cannot erase that just like that.
When it comes to politics, Manny, both presidential candidates, is there one that you feel more strongly about? And if so, what in particular when it comes to gun reform?
Well, I can tell you that Donald Trump never mentioned my kid's name. He also received $40 million during his campaign in 2016 from the NRA. And he keeps having that strong relationship with the NRA. So this is my answer to your question. One of these two candidates has shown no respect for what happened in Parkland. And not also that, I think everything is part of being guilty in some way. And I know that the killer of my son is in jail behind bars, but I also know that some people in Washington are also guilty for this situation. As long as we have politicians receiving money from the NRA, as long as we have the gun lobby pushing forward to not pass any gun law that makes sense for all of us, for the regular civilian that doesn't want to carry a gun, then they will also be part of a problem.
Manny, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much for sitting down with me this morning. That's Manny Oliver, anti-gun violence activist, founder of Change the Ref, and father of Joaquin Oliver. Thank you.